Hey guys, what's going on? Just going to do a quick update here on Theta. Ticker for this is obviously Theta, and currently on the weekly time frame. It's been about, I think, about a week or maybe 10 days since I covered this coin last. And in my my last video, I pointed out that we had this key level on the chart right here. So if you want to draw this, just take a horizontal trend line or horizontal ray and just paste it right at the low of these candle bodies right here. So you see this level was a support right here, it was support here, we broke below it, it was resistance, we broke above it, we sold off all the way down to this lower region, but by the time this candle closed, candle body closed above it. So this level has quite a long history of being defended and acting as either a resistance if the price is below it or a support if the price is above it. Now we've just reached this level on this latest impulsive move to the upside. And if you look what's happening here, the last 3 weeks, because these are 1 week candles, so each candle represents 1 week of trading action, the price has sold well below it, but by the time the candle closed on Sunday evening, this is a level that is being defended. The buyers, the bulls are coming in and just basically protecting this level. So that's why you see we have 3 consecutive candle bodies closing above this particular line of what is now acting as a support. And this current week candle, it's an indecision candle, so we traded all the way up here, sold all the way down here, but right now, candle body is in a safe range above this level of support that's being defended. It's Friday now, this candle closes Sunday evening, so let's see how the next few days play out. But if the candle were to close as it is right now, that's a sign of strength. In yesterday's video that I did on Hedera, it's pretty much the same scenario where we're getting bullish momentum as the candle closes and we're defending the level. But during the week, after we defend the level, the price is selling off, right? But again, in this case, it matters where the candle closes Sunday evening. And on this data chart, as well as the Hedera chart, we are in pretty good territory right now because the levels are being defended, and the more often we defend this level, I think the more confidence people are going to have to enter long positions, and then we can look to the next target to the upside. Speaking of the next target to the upside, for me that's going to be right at the top of here. So you see this level was a resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. So quite a significant price history, and this level is around $1.22. Actually, now I recall the last time I did a video, we hadn't made it all the way up here. So this candle wasn't printed yet. And I had this target marked. And you see, we just missed it by a couple cents. So this candle made it to about $1.19. And this resistance line is anywhere between $1.21 and $1.23. So we stopped just shy of it. And this is why when I mentioned that if I'm entering a long position and I tell you what my target's going to be, I always say that I'm going to front run it because, you know, a lot of people are going to be looking at this level and a lot of people kind of do the same thing where they front run because they don't want this to happen, right? So maybe a lot of people were looking to take profits here and then they missed it, right? So I always front run my take profit target. And when I do the calculation to measure the risk reward, I also factor that into my play. I look at where I would personally exit the position. Okay, now let's zoom out and just kind of give a broad overview. So you see Theta, we had this long-term falling wedge where we had this downsloping level of resistance here, this downsloping level of support, multiple touches on each trend line. We broke out of it. When you break out of a long-standing trend line like this, more often than not, the price will come back to retest the level. So you see that's what happened right here. You see this wick down? That was basically a resistance to support flip. We moved back up off that, and then we got slammed down by this second trend line that I'm going to mention in a minute. However, when we came all the way back down, we retested this broken level of resistance once again, and the bounce off that once again got rejected from this second downsloping level of resistance. So you see we had this top line of the falling wedge, and then we formed another level of resistance here. So it started up here, it was resistance here, 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 and we recently broke out of that as well. So we've broken the long-term falling wedge, and we've broken this kind of pesky resistance that has been keeping the price down and rejecting us, right? So both of these are broken. These are not in play anymore, okay? Now, what is in play in the near term? We have these levels here. So we have this horizontal zone where you see it was support right here, support right here. We broke below it, it flipped to a resistance, and we just breached it on this impulsive move to the upside. So this is still in play. Consider this is a range, right? So this horizontal line here is the lower region of the range. The top line up here at around $1, between $1.21 and $1.23, that's the top of the range. And then we have this level right here, which is currently being defended. Consider that, I mean, it's a little bit lower than the midline, but right here would be the middle, right? So you can play off these levels. So for example, if the price comes up here, it's an opportunity to potentially enter a short position with a stop loss above these wicks. However, given the fact that we have likely put in a bottom here, given the fact that we have broken a long-term level of resistance, the top line of this falling wedge and this one right here, this downsloping level of resistance, Considering the fact that we have broken these, I expect more bullish momentum to come into the market. So short positions is likely not something I'm going to look to enter, particularly not once we've hit the resistance several times, right? So coming up here, it's going to be the fourth time we've come to this level of resistance. And the more often you approach and hit a level of resistance, the more likely it is to break. Now, that being said, if we're able to breach this and the price comes up here, well, we haven't hit this one nearly as many times as we have this one. So this one, I would be more likely to enter a short position because we haven't approached this level in so long, right? Since August of 2022. So I think the first time this level hits, sellers are likely to come in here. So the play off that for me, if I decide to take it, I may not, because I don't really want to trade against the trend, because if we breach this level, the trend has officially changed, right? So if I do enter the short position, I'm going to have a relatively conservative price target. So for example, I would enter and then I would target, I would front run this broken level of resistance. So just to kind of map that out and give you an idea of what kind of R&R this potential trade setup would get me, I'll get the short position tool here. So theoretically, if I entered my short here, stop loss would go slightly above it and above the wick on this previous high here. And I would target this current level of resistance, which I would anticipate to be flipped to a support. And of course, I would front run that a little bit as well. So maybe right there. So this particular trade setup would give me an R&R, a risk reward ratio of 1 to 2.81. I would risk 7.30% to potentially get over 20% if the trade plays out in my favor. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm going to take that because this is risky, as it is counter trend. In this current market environment where a lot of the altcoins seem to be breaking long-term downtrends, the better play, in my opinion, is just to enter long positions off pullbacks, right? So for example, if the price does come up here and pull back, then you could just look to enter a long on the retrace to support, and instead just place your stop loss down here and then target back up to this resistance or up to the next region where you have marked out as being a significant level of resistance. Speaking of which, right here, if you want to trade Theta, I recommend that you draw this level on your chart as well. Just take a horizontal trend line or horizontal ray and just paste it right at the low of these candle bodies, right? So you see it was support all throughout here for about a month and a half. We broke below it, price came up, it served as a resistance level, came back down again, came back to it, and it was a strong resistance right here. And that's where we had this huge spill to the downside. Okay, so those are all key levels. Once again, I don't think I've mentioned this level down here, but this should be obvious just from looking at the chart. Hopefully we don't come all the way back down here, but this level here is around 0.57, so 57 cents. And you'll see this was the resistance right here, came up, it was support all throughout here, and it was support all throughout here. So this is the base, right? You definitely do not want this level to break. However, for the price to get back down there has to be some sort of maybe black swan, big catalyst event to cause the entire market to crash, right? Because that's going to be almost a 50% drop in the price. So right now, I don't really see that happening. Just focus on this level for now. If we start closing candle bodies below here, below like the 95-cent range, then you can anticipate a move back down to this level of support, and perhaps you can buy against that with a stop loss underneath. Okay, so we got this level. I mentioned this level here. Obviously, this level here, this is the next target up, and the level that we're currently fighting to defend, and then the level down right here. So definitely mark all those on your charts. Last thing I would do to identify the levels, in addition to looking at the price, so we have one right here where it was resistance and then it was support right here. So that's also a level of significance. But I would obviously run a fib from the swing high up here down to the swing low and just look for confluence. I did this earlier. I don't see that much confluence. We have the 382 right here. It kind of lines up with this cluster of price action. The 50% is kind of in the middle. However, if you look left, it was the support region right here. So that's something to make note of. However, I wouldn't look to enter a short position just off the 50% because it's not that confluent with the price action, right? However, up here, it's not far off from the 618. So right around this zone, I would actually mark that as a zone. So the way I would trade this is I would have it marked as I do, just based on the price action. So that's the start of the zone. And then I would run it up to the 618 fib. And all that means to me is that if I enter a short position, I'm going to make sure to place my stop loss above the top of the zone. Okay, I think that pretty much wraps it up. Theta is looking really good. This is the level that we are defending, so just keep an eye on it. Make sure candle bodies don't close below here. If that does happen, then I would look to this lower region of support to perhaps enter a long position. If we come up to the top region, I anticipate some selling pressure, but if we break and start closing weekly candles above, then I would target the next level up, which is all the way up here at a $1.68. So that's going to be a very nice play. Again, weekly candle bodies closing above here, then this is the next level I would target. All right, guys, hopefully you found that helpful. If you did, smash the like button. If you're not subscribed and you want to get notified when I release new content, click subscribe, click the bell, click on all. If you click away without doing that, you're probably going to have a hard time finding the channel again just because it's relatively new. As you can see, there's less than 2,000 subscribers, and because of that, I'm not really prioritizing the search algorithm. Also, if you want to place to trade Theta and pretty much any of the other coins I talk about on this channel, I put a link to 3 different exchanges in both the pinned comment and the description. They're all offering you guys sign-up bonuses. 2 of them require KYC, so they require that you submit your personal information. If you don't want to do that, and I understand why you wouldn't want to do that, the one you should probably check out is BingX, as they currently do not require you to submit any identifying documentation. And again, all 3 of those exchanges are offering you guys sign-up bonuses if you use the links in the pinned comment and description. Also, I put a link to a promotion on a VPN. If you're in crypto, having a VPN is just so beneficial because it enables you to kind of get by some of the geo blocks. So for example, if you want to claim an airdrop, or you want to use an exchange, or you just want an added layer of security, particularly if you're in crypto, that's very important. Yeah, VPNs are the way to go. Anyway, that about wraps it up. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.